back to Beyond the Curve. I have some great and exciting videos for you today. Please hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's jump right in.
Shocking the world. The U.S. officially says goodbye to the U.S. dollar. Donald Trump has announced that as of next month, the U.S. dollar will no longer be the official currency of the United States. In its place will be a national cryptocurrency called Liberty Coin. This isn't just a shift in the way payments are made. It's a disruption of the global financial landscape. Liberty Coin Bank declares bankruptcy as millions of depositors go on a withdrawal spree. Wall Street suffered a Black Friday and international markets were in chaos. China, the European Union, Russia, quickly pushing back, refusing to adopt free coin transactions. And Trump threw out a heavy-handed promise in the future. Only countries that accept Liberty Coin will be able to do business with the United States. This isn't just a currency war. It's a clash of values and a battle for sovereignty in the digital age. Some call it the end of dollar hegemony. Your entire savings could be wiped out overnight. The dollars you've been saving all your life are being forced out of service. Tell us what you think in the comments section. Don't let your voice be erased before paper money becomes code.
This is today. The US dollar is done for.
I don't think there's any question we're heading for a new monetary system. The question is what will it consist of? The four choices are sort of a world of multiple reserve currencies. And Barry Eichengreen, Berkeley, is the leading proponent of this, or leading scholar on this topic. The problem with that, and where I disagree with Eichengreen, is there's no anchor in that system. We did have multiple reserve currencies before in the 1920s. He's right about that. And it was sterling and the dollar, but they were both anchored to gold. And in the post-Bretton Woods world, since 1944, it's been one reserve currency, which is the anchor, and it was anchored to gold until 1971. Since then, the dollar has been detached from gold, but all the other currencies are still linked to the dollar. So at the end of the day, we've had an anchor of some kind. We've never had a world of multiple reserve currencies with no anchor. I'm not sure that's that stable. The SDR is the second choice. The SDR is a basket currency sponsored by the IMF. At least for the time being. It's also printed money. The IMF literally prints the SDRs and ships them out to the members. And their reserves go up, exactly the way the Fed creates money and bank reserves go up. But it's not backed by anything. Third choice is gold, some variation on the gold standard. And the fourth choice is what I call chaos, which is that nobody does anything. There's a lot of wishful thinking. There's a lot of denial. There's a lot of delay. And we get to the point where people just totally lose faith in paper currencies, go to hard assets, and we have a sequential collapse of paper currencies around the world, at which point governments will have to react with emergency measures. And that could include coercion, confiscation, various sorts of freezes on paper assets. Could be a lot of things in that scenario. So to me, it's multiple reserve currencies, SDRs, gold, or chaos. I favor gold, but I fear that we may get chaos.
What if one moment in time connected the past, the present, and the next evolution of money? August 15th, 2025 could be that moment. Back in 1971, the US broke away from the gold standard. That decision flipped the global economy into the fiat era. Now, exactly 54 years later, a new shift may be happening, this time toward programmable money. August 15th isn't just the final day of the BRICS summit in Russia. It could also be the close of Ripple's legal battle with the SEC and the start of something entirely new with RLUSD, Ripple's regulated stablecoin. Picture it like this. XRP is the plumbing under a modern city. You don't see it, but every time value moves across borders, it's flowing through those pipes. And Ripple has been quietly laying that foundation for years. As the BRICS nations explore how to reduce reliance on the US dollar, Ripple's tech could become a bridge for cross-border transactions. Not flashy, just efficient, built to scale. And if RLUSD launches with corridors in place across 50 countries, XRP becomes more than a coin. It becomes a liquidity layer. This isn't just about a token going up. It's about real utility, infrastructure, and trust. Here's the part most people miss. In 1933, Americans weren't allowed to hold gold. In 1971, dollars stopped being backed by it. Now in 2025, the world might shift again, and this time XRP may already be part of the new foundation. And here's the twist. These timelines aren't random. They've been building like pressure behind a dam. The question is no longer if the system changes, it's when. And when that dam breaks, the flow of value has to go somewhere. The world might just find XRP waiting, already connected, already flowing. Want more crypto crypto videos? Check out my playlist. Remember, this post is brought to you by the Crypto Chrome. Like, follow, share, and repost this video if you believe that crypto is the future, and the future is now.
The Genius Act creates a clear and simple regulatory framework to establish and unleash the immense promise of dollar-backed stable coins. This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. A lot of people are saying that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yes? If you say yes, I'm saying yes. I think it's great that you're involved, I will tell you. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. Who would have thought we would have been saying that 2 years after I really met you for the first time? The Genius Act provides banks, businesses, and financial institutions a framework for issuing crypto assets backed one for one with real U.S. dollars, treasury bills, and other cash equivalents. It's really strengthening the dollar and giving the dollar great prominence. I also remain fully committed to my pledge never to allow the creation of a central bank digital currency in America. It won't happen. My first. Thank you. And the other night, I will say, with some of the congressmen and women, they wanted that so badly. That was so important to them. I was impressed that they knew what the hell it was, to be honest with you. Please, sir, please, the central bank digital currency. Well, you have to make sure, sir. And I'm saying, what do you know about that? It's amazing the knowledge that people have gained all of a sudden. We had a lot of problems with some of them. I said, we've already got it from the Fed, right? From Commerce and from an executive order. You don't need it a fourth time. Sir, we have to get it. It's amazing. But they knew their subject, though, didn't they, huh? And we helped them out. My first week in office, I signed an executive order to ban the creation of a CBDC in the United States. And very soon I look forward to signing legislation that will codify and ban make it a permanent law, put it in permanence.
For the U.S. to have a central bank digital currency. In my mind, a central bank digital currency is for countries who have no other investment alternatives. So if we think about a reserve manager, a high surplus country, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Singapore, who ends up with, call the Chinese currency whatever you want, the yuan, the RMB. If you own that currency, you have to have something to invest in. There's very little to invest in if you want to hold the currency. You could own Chinese government bonds, which don't yield.
So
very
your
much.
view of that would be a negative view.
Well, I view that many of these countries are doing it out of necessity, whereas the U.S., if you hold U.S. dollars, you could hold a variety of very secure U.S. assets.
Most people miss this, but the U.S. just took massive steps into a cashless society. The Genius Act was passed, which is setting the groundwork for a centralized digital currency system right here in the U.S. It's being framed in a way to make things faster, boost innovation. It's apparently a lot cheaper and modernize society. Of course, it's always, for your good. And although, yes, it may be cheaper and it may be faster, cheaper and faster doesn't always mean better. But here's what else they're not telling you. With a central bank digital currency, every transaction can be monitored, every dollar can be tracked or restricted if they so choose. And if it sounds like control, well, it kind of basically is. Revelation 13, it says, he also forced everyone, small, great, rich, poor, free and slave, to receive a mark in his right hand or on his forehead, so that no one could buy, sell, or trade unless he had the mark, which is the mark of his name and the number of the beast. We are seeing a system being set up right now that could fulfill or help to fulfill that prophecy found in Revelation 13. This is the way that they can do it, because you have to have complete control over someone's ability to buy, sell, or trade. How do you do that? You make it digital. You put AI in control of the banking systems that can track this stuff because the technology is already there. And there you go. You've got control and can shut off whether you want someone to be able to purchase or have selling power or buying power based on if they follow the rules and do whatever those in power decide that they want to have done. This is probably a good time to say this video is for entertainment purposes only.
Be able to push the button and stop things. Folks, if you don't do what they want you to do in the days ahead, which is get the mark of the beast, do the beast system, they're going to be able to cut your finances off and you won't be able to buy, sell, or trade. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. We're going eventually to a cashless society. Just like the Bible told us. We'll have a mark on our forehead or in our hand. And that's how you buy, sell, or trade.
All right, for more on this, let's bring in Monica Crowley, former Assistant Treasury Secretary for Public Affairs and the host of the amazing podcast, the Monica Crowley Podcast. Monica, good to see you.
Great to see you.
So, listen, I think we share the same vibe on the digital currency. What's your take?
Yeah, it's hard to overstate how dangerous a path this is. When President Biden came into office, he ordered the Treasury Department under Secretary Yellen to actually begin a pilot program to study how this would affect the U.S. economy and the average American. We're not alone. Most Western governments also have these pilot programs. So there is a massive move toward a central bank digital currency in all of these countries. The bottom line here is not ease or convenience. That's how they're going to sell it, right? The ultimate objective is to move us to a cashless society. So you will no longer have that hard asset of that $20 bill or $10 bill. Your money will essentially be software. It will be a number in a program that the Fed, Treasury, the government, your political opponents will all have access to. They eventually want to get rid of most banks. Now, the big ones are too big to fail. But in the end, the ultimate objective is to essentially wipe all of the banks out so that your bank will be the Federal Reserve. Everything will be centralized. And again, this is not really about the money, although of course it is. This is about power and control because the government, such as it is, will have access to all of the information related to every single transaction you make. You buy a stick of gum, the government will know. You buy a new car, the government will know. Oh, you bought the wrong car. You didn't buy an EV. Now you're going to get penalized. So in the end, Sean, this is really a move toward a CCP style social credit system. And they're using this move to a central bank digital currency as the biggest lever to try to get us there.
It's important to note that other cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is decentralized. This will be centralized within the government. Bitcoin is a technology for freedom. This is a technology for control. I mentioned this to you before. I brought my prop. I got a $20 bill. I can use this $20 bill however I choose for meat, for guns, for even illicit purposes. But when the government controls the dollar, they can control as we talked about in the report, whether you can buy a firearm, how much gas you can buy, how much electricity you can buy. Can you buy meat or do you have to buy bug-based meat? They can control everything that you purchase with a digital dollar and whether you can purchase anything.
Well, that's also the point, too, because if you overstep perhaps your monthly carbon footprint,
right,
or if you say something that the government doesn't like, you engage in wrongthink, they'll be able to turn off your access to your own money. So you will not be able to buy or sell anything. This is what I mean about how dangerous it is.
You're shut out of the economy.
You are shut out of the economy. And of course, it's all subjective and it will all be in the hands of these Marxists, right? And so you and I won't be able to buy anything. This is why it's so dangerous, because this spells the end of your economic freedom.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure the American people are really paying close attention to it. I'm glad Senator Cruz and some others, Governor DeSantis, they're paying attention to it. But this is moving very fast down the track. And we need more leaders on the Republican side to stand up, and even responsible Democrats to say, look, this is not the path for the United States. Because if we continue to go down the path, you're going to lose all of your economic freedom, and economic power will be centralized in the hands of the very, very few.
And I think there's a lot of conversation about a tax on freedom, a tax on democracy, right? And you look at all those things. Do you think this is one of the greatest threats that we face in the country is the digitization of the dollar by the Fed?
Yes, 100%. And it's moving along a parallel track with the de-dollarization movement, where you have countries now that are dumping the dollar. It's moving pretty fast. All Saudi Arabia has to do is say, you know what, we're going to start trading oil in different currencies rather than the dollar to have a complete global and certainly American economic collapse. And that, in a way, they want to instigate that, Sean, because if we have a true economic implosion, they'll ride in as the rescuers with a central bank digital currency.
And we were talking about that in the last segment. I'm frightened that we could lose the reserve status with the dollar. What that does for our economy, a lot of economists don't. But you look at, again, a $32 trillion debt on the way to $50 trillion in the next 10 years. The Fed has a balance sheet of almost $9 trillion. This is disastrous policy to think that the dollar is going to remain the reserve currency for much longer.
Yeah. And if that goes away, then you're going to have the kind of economic implosion we have not seen since the Great Depression. And what does that mean to you and me? That means astronomical inflation. Yes. That makes today's inflation look like child's play. This will be Weimar Republic kind of hyperinflation. And really the only solution to it is going back to the gold standard, which, would be difficult to do, but you've got to have our currency backed with a hard asset like gold. Otherwise, you've got this free-floating dollar and system that is not backed by anything real.
Price of gold.
Plan on implementing a cashless society. The world elites plan on implementing a cashless society with a one world digital currency for total control over the population. And I'm going to show you some of the predictive programming that has been telling us what the one world currency will be. Now, this is the cover of The Economist in 1988, and there is a lot of things to dissect here. First, it says, get ready for a world currency. And as you can see, the cash is burning right here and the phoenix is rising from the ashes. This symbolizes new beginnings, aka the new world currency. Now, in the middle of the phoenix, you are going to find the logo for XLM or Stellar. If you guys didn't know, XLM or Stellar is a digital currency. Now, we also have Phoenix written on the coin. And XRP is greatly associated with the Phoenix. Now, if you guys aren't aware of what ISO 222 is, this is legislation that implements digital currencies into our financial banking system. And these are some of the compliant coins. XRP and XLM is included. Now, in the movie Interstellar, they have the XLM or Stellar logo. And on the other movie color, they actually highlight the word Stellar. This is another form of predictive programming. Now, XRP has already been implemented into many financial banking systems, and it will be the future for international bank payments. Now, this isn't financial advice, but I think that the best way to prepare for this would be to load up on some of these ISO 222 compliant coins. I would also highly suggest loading up on precious metals like gold and silver. And remember, cash is the only thing that they cannot track. They want to get rid of it. Peace and
Smart lights, smart poles, smart cars, smart neighborhoods, smart homes, and smart appliances, all connected to wireless networks and communicating with each other. So what's wrong with that? Technology is good, isn't it? All this is for your safety, security, and convenience, isn't it? Well, let me tell you, your streets are spying on you, your mobile phone is spying on you, your cities are spying on you, and the infrastructure for future lockdowns is being put into place right now. Don't be fooled. You're being set up to be tracked through your movements and through the future of your digital wallets. By handing over your data, you're handing over the ability to monitor your behaviour, which will soon be turned into a social credit score. And once the central bank digital currencies are in place, you won't get to spend your money without approval. Digital ID will soon become a reality in Australia. Many other countries are already rolling these systems out, countries like Canada, Scotland, and many others. Eventually, you won't be able to access any government or public services, and you won't be able to travel across borders or access healthcare or the internet without a digital ID. Think you won't comply? I think you will. The last 2 years were the dress rehearsal and we fell for it hook, line and sinker. Australians are sleepwalking into this technocratic future. And while we're sitting around scratching our chins trying to work out whether this is really happening, Australia is drifting towards a...
They did it before. They'll do it again. 1933, the Great Depression. The government made it illegal for Americans to own gold, confiscated it, forced them to sell it at $20.67 per ounce. The moment they had it, they devalued the dollar to $35 an ounce. Overnight, every citizen lost 40% of their wealth, stolen by executive order signed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This wasn't ancient history. This was less than 100 years ago. A direct seizure of wealth from the people, a manufactured crisis, a manufactured solution. The government took control of real money and replaced it with paper promises. Today, they don't need vaults. They don't need agents knocking on doors. They need one policy, one executive order, one digital switch. Central bank digital currencies, programmable money, trackable, seizable, erasable. The next confiscation won't come in trucks. It will come in code. The dollar isn't just weakening, it's being dismantled. Inflation is theft in slow motion. The Federal Reserve prints. The banks fail, you bail them out. The corporations profit, you struggle. Every crisis has the same victim, the same playbook, the same deception, the same betrayal. But this time, they're taking it all. And there is nothing you can do to stop them.
Let's start with the Genius Act. I'm very confused about the Genius Act. I thought there was a deal made by the president to make sure that included was going to be the central bank digital currency. There'd be no possibility of a backdoor to get that. So where are we?
Steve, let me explain something. In 1971, we went off of the gold standard. The Federal Reserve did that. And we went to cash, a cash society. And the value of the dollar has drastically gone down to the buying power is less than 10 cents now from where it was in the 1950s before we went off the gold reserve. What's happening today on July 17th in 2025 when no one is paying attention, no one's talking about it, everyone is in blind rage about the Epstein files, and I don't blame them. However, right now, what is being voted on today in Congress is the entire setup, groundwork, and entire infrastructure being laid to move from cash to digital currency. And the number one thing that is not happening today is a ban on a central bank digital currency. This means the ability for the government to take control of your digital bank account where all your money is and turn it off. And this is why I'm so upset and it's not being talked about. Steve, I was the only no vote on the rule last night. And Congress set a record last night and no one's talking about that either. This was the longest vote held open for a rule in history. And it finally shut down sometime around midnight because there was a deal made and the deal will not be honored. It was a deal that Speaker Johnson made, and he said that he would put a ban on central bank digital currency in the NDAA. But let me tell you something, that's going to get stripped out in the Senate because what they told us all week long is the Senate does not have the votes to pass a ban on a central bank digital currency. So I want to lay this out straight for you all. You never thought in your lifetime that the government would shut you down, would close your churches, would close your schools, would close your business. And that happened only a few years ago. But what is happening today is the groundwork is being laid, and it's all in the name of cryptocurrency and stablecoin. But it is the entire regulatory process to switch us from cash to a cashless society to digital currency that can be controlled by the federal government. And there will be no ban on a central bank digital currency. There will be no way to protect your ability to fully control your digital currency in the future. And I'm voting no to this today. I don't know if there'll be any other no votes on the Republican side, but I'm voting no to this because I'm a Christian and I've read the Bible and I believe what Revelations 13, 16 through 17 says. And I just cannot vote for a future system that will do that.
Here, as your personal whistleblower, Skinny Bob here, as your personal whistleblower, I just have to share this with you.
That's not the plan. The plan is the central bank digital currency. You will have crypto. You will have a digital wallet. It will be directly from the Federal Reserve to you. And there will be no little retail banking. That just won't happen anymore.
All online.
Oh, of course.
No more brick and mortar in 50 years?
I mean, no. you just use it like you use Venmo now. Use the same way, only you'll be connected to the Federal Reserve, to the central bank. Now you've been completely morphed into where they want you to be, because then they fully control you. You will own nothing and you will be happy.
The Bible predicts a global currency. One world, one system, one mark to buy or sell. Revelation 13. No man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. That's not just ancient language. That's digital, global, tracked. Right now, nations are testing CBDCs. Cashless society is coming. And the Bible said it first.
Well, I hope you like today's videos. I hope you see we're moving towards a cashless society. It's in the works any day now, any month now, this year, next year. When that happens, your freedom's gone. So hopefully people take notice and stand up and fight this. Please hit the like button, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.